Hi, this is Duff, W0FN, and welcome to This is LICW, a look at what's new, noteworthy, and happening in the Long Island CW Club for July 2025. Well, Field Day 2025 has come and gone, and I, for one, had a lot of fun this year working strictly CW. And I was totally amazed at how many CW stations were on the air there doing their thing. And I'm going, wow, this is just totally amazing. I don't know if I've ranked between phone and CW or other modes, but it was quite tremendous. Howard, what do you attribute to this resurgence in CW? What do you think?
We talk about this all the time, and there's a few factors. Number one, resurgence and interest in POTA and SOTA.
Right.
And the young people, they want to be transmitting outside in the fresh air, which is nice.
Right.
And we all know that if you're going to be walking deep into a park or up on a mountain, you'd rather take a lightweight CW rig, which can be the size of a pack of cigarettes,
Sure.
and a small compromised antenna, rather than a heavy sideband radio and then a laptop for FT8 if that's what you wanted to do. So it's the ideal mode for working outdoors. That's one. Another thing we find, Duff, is that it's no longer forced on anybody by the FCC.
That's correct.
25 years ago, they got rid of the code requirement, and we kind of thought that would be the end of CW. But it seems to have some sort of reverse psychology to it, where
exactly.
people don't have to do it anymore. Now they're curious. They'd like to do it. And you know, some of these people are becoming retired now, 60 plus, and they have time on their hands to learn. So some people even refer to it as a bucket list item.
Really? Okay. That makes sense.
And then the other thing I would say is that maybe people are getting tired of the immediacy of everything at our fingertips on our phone.
Yeah. Absolutely. The shine of the instant messaging and all that is kind of wearing thin. And they're looking for new avenues, basically, to try and to communicate.
Well, you know, CW is a very efficient yet romantic way to communicate. So I think it's a refreshing alternative to some of the things that we have going on in the palm of our hand now. So I think when you total all of those three areas up,
right,
a major influx of people wanting to learn.
Yeah. And some of the things on the weekends, you know, where you get some CW sprints, you know, the what do you call it, the SKCC sprint going on over there. It's amazing how many stations are actually on the air communicating and doing this whole thing, which is kind of, you know, reflective of exactly where this whole trend is going. Do you find that there's a particular age group, basically, that are getting more involved than others, do you think, Howard?
Well, like I said, Duff, I think it's, you know, the hams that are coming into retirement age or doing less work of jobs, and all of a sudden they have more available time to do their hobbies. So a major segment that we have would be 50 plus.
Really? Okay.
Unfortunately, that's the makeup of the majority of hams. I think quite a few of us have gray hair these days, or no hair, as some of us.
No hair. We were talking geezers this morning on the one of the nets over there. We're going, and so now it's geezers on the or Gita.
So we're trying to buck this trend, and you know, we have the kids program as part of the Long Island.
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
We taught over 600 kids.
Isn't that amazing?
At the age of 5 and 17 at this particular point. So we're doing our best to try and change the bell curve on that.
Absolutely.
But it does still fall into the older segment, unfortunately.
Right. And as they say, you know, as you get older, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And I would imagine that CW falls into that category of brain power, of keeping that active thing going, you know, for, you know, learning and just in doing their thing, you know, which I think is quite amazing, that's for sure.
Well, there are some studies that were done, and there's actually a new member in the club that is planning to do another one where they actually have taken MRI images of the brain while receiving CW.
Really? Wow.
And the conclusion from these researchers was that learning CW does increase the plasticity of the brain or the efficiency of it and creates new pathways. So it's a very good thing for older people to be doing. You know, they say you should be doing crossword puzzles and stuff like that.
Right.
I think it would be a lot more fun to be doing CW if you wanted to keep your mind fresh.
Yeah. How long would you say it takes for an average individual of that 50 age to get going with CW? What do you think?
Well, our goal, Duff, is to get any new student, regardless of their age, on the air within 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
Of
Okay.
starting.
All right.
Oh, of course, that would mean some dedication, at least 2 1-hour classes a week, and practicing 15 to 30 minutes a day. So it does take somewhat of a commitment. But we think if you do that, you should be able to get on the air and at least do some of the shorter protocol QSOs like your POTA or some SKCC type of exchanges.
Yeah. Which is, fairly simple, but least-wise, it gets you on the air and gets you going with things like that, which is totally amazing. How many people now are in the basically the Long Island Club at this point, Howard?
Well, it's over 6,500 on a net basis now. But interesting enough that you asked that, I was looking at the membership numbers just yesterday, and we passed 8,000.
Wow.
So not everybody stays with it.
Sure.
So our re-upping rate on an average is about 80%, over 80% over the past 6 years or so, which is not bad for any organization.
Oh, heck
but,
no.
at one point, 8,000 something members, and I looked at that number, I said, this is just unbelievable.
It sure is. Well, that just speaks volumes to exactly what is happening out there with Morse code and everybody kind of learning it and going from there. Fantastic. Absolutely great. Howard, thank you for taking time.
Thank you very much, Duff. And once again, I want to thank you very much for doing these podcasts for the club. It's a great service, and it's so interesting to listen to them and hear different perspectives from all the members. So
absolutely.
It's a good work, and thank you very much sincerely for that.
You betcha. Thanks, Howard. LICW has a plethora of great applications for learning CW. A brand new one coming up on the scene is something called Project OverLearn. An interesting application for sure. Tom W0FN is heading up this application. What's it all about?
There's so many people, so many students they're working on one half of the skills that it takes to achieve instant character recognition, and that one half is they're and they should be drilling on the alphabet to get really very, very familiar, really extreme alphabetic familiarity is what's necessary.
Right.
But the other half, and you can just jot down an equation actually.
Okay.
Alphabetic familiarity plus sign, flow skills, going with the flow skills, equal sign, ICR.
Okay, so all those encompass into the ICR, I take it.
I mean, alphabetic familiarity by itself will not get you there.
Okay.
And people, students, I was the same way. I hated to practice at speeds I couldn't get anything.
Yeah. Yep.
So it took me a long, long time to acquire, I guess, the bravery or just get so sick of failing that I just listened to fast code and just, didn't get much of it all the time. I just said, the heck with it. Other people can do it. So I kind of just fell into listening to faster code. And for me, that was upper 20s and words per minute. And all of a sudden, magic started to happen. I got my conscious brain out of the way. I didn't have expectations. I didn't work hard to recognize every single thing I could get. I just sat back and hoped. And so
there you are.
The bottom line on Project OverLearn is we have drills set up to kind of push students into overlearning not only the alphabet, but also overlearning fast character flow.
Okay.
there are, I shouldn't say the speeds probably, but I'll say it anyway. We have two speeds. They're 15% apart.
Okay.
The first speed is 27 words per minute.
Okay.
The second speed, the other optional speed, is 31 words per minute.
Okay.
The layout of the files, and what we're doing is we're interleaving all of the exercises. We're interleaving word exercise plus alphabet exercise.
Oh, okay.
On the starting with A and going to Z in that order, so students are going to think, well, I don't have to worry about recognition here, right? That's a 100% familiarity building exercise. So I've got 3 sets of 3 on every letter. So it's da 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 da.
Right.
And then right after that, I have 6 words starting with A. And they are repeated 3 times each. So they hear da 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 da. Their brain might think that was an, but maybe not. But it's not and they were going to explain to folks, do not try to recognize as much as you can. Do not try to recognize anything. This is fast character flow practice, period.
That's it.
That's it.
So what's the correlation then, I guess, with the words and the alphabet that you have going on there? Is it to more word recognition, or what are we looking at there?
No, it's we're trying to make sure that students can relax about recognition and just make sure they keep up and hear every character sound.
Okay. All right.
Just hear the character sounds. And you know there's going to be 3 repeats, and probably we're going to have the computer, the MPP, the Morse code practice page,
Right.
say the word
Okay.
before it's sent. So they're going to start hearing and then da-da-da-dit, 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 and then at, da-da-da, 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 and then and A-N-D, A-N-D, A-N-D. So they will actually not worry about recognizing. We're trying to keep them, especially in the initial phases of this.
Right.
'Cause when you try to recognize stuff, you are going to immediately bring frustration, discouragement, disappointment, irritation.
Oh, yeah.
All the things that are big bugaboos for all the students.
Everybody. Yep.
Yeah, everyone.
Yep.
And so this is designed to be an alphabetic overlearning and a fast character flow overlearning exercise, period. Keep recognition out of it. It's not an instant word recognition practice.
So the focus will be on what area, should we say, is this open for everybody, or is there particular areas over there you're going to be focusing on as far as speed-wise, or your beginning, or what are we looking at there?
From what I'm hearing, and I'm not the expert in this, but I'm hearing a lot of BC student, a lot of discussion about BC students maybe listening to this.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Or post BC students prior to Intermediate 1, or certainly Intermediate 1 and down, and it's dependent upon the person. But by the way, there's going to be a 2 and 3 word file, which is what I just gave you. So A's are and at and all again.
Okay.
AGN. B's are BE, BY, BUT, BET, BOT, BAT, and BED.
Okay.
And they're going to hear these 2 and 3 word letters. C's are again C, 3 groups of C. So they hear da-da-da-da-dit, 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 and then 2 more groups of 3 times.
Okay.
And they'll hear can, car, cap, cab, CUL, CQ. All of those will be repeated 3 times each. And they will be announced what they're going to hear. So they're going to know what the word is that they're going to hear, and they're going to be tasked with making sure they hear every letter sound.
Correct.
And relax about the speed. We don't care about what the speed is. You need to get comfortable listening to character flow.
Right.
And that keeps the conscious brain out of the mix. That keeps the conscious recognition efforts out of the mix, because that will kill this whole program.
Right.
If anybody goes into this trying to recognize as much as they can, they're not getting the benefit.
Sure. Are you going to be mixing it up? So is it always going to be A through Z, or are we going to basically mix up the alphabet order at that point, do you think?
That is something that Tom is probably resisting at this point.
Okay.
Because you can mix up the alphabet if you want, but then you got to make sure that all the words that start with the letter that they just heard are also following that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So if you try to randomize the whole thing, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm just saying, the familiarity as you go along, like you get in Ninja and stuff like that, and they're rolling along at 32 or 35 for words, and it becomes almost, there you go. So where does that, work into it? We're looking more character.
How it works into it is after probably a week or two or three, perhaps maybe a month, students are going to be asked to turn off the say before.
Uh-huh.
So they're not going to hear what the words are, but they're going to know in this file, it's 2- and 3-letter words.
Mm-hmm.
We have another file that's a 4-letter words. We have another file just like this that's 5-letter words. We have another file just like this that is common English binomial expressions. This and that, law and order, up and down, that type of thing.
Yep.
And so we've got, not only do they know the first letter of the word, and how many times have you heard a student say, "Boy, if I miss the first letter,
yeah, I'm out of luck."
For me, I don't get the word.
Yep.
So they know what the first letter of the word is going to be
Yeah.
on all of these exercises, and with the, I'll just skip to the binomial expressions, the common binomial expressions. They will have heard that 100 times, 1,000 times in their life.
Yeah.
So if they get the first word, they know the second word's and. I mean, a few of them are or, but most all of them are either dit or A and D.
Right.
In CW.
It's coming up somewhere along the line.
So if they get the first word, they know that and follows that, and they probably know what the third word's going to be because it's such a common expression.
Sure.
All of this is designed to make sure that they learn how to go with the flow and put the big recognition bugaboo in the back seat and bring the subconscious to the front, get the conscious mind out of the way, stop the trying, just go with the flow, hear every letter sound, and see how it goes.
Sure.
And familiarity with flow will skyrocket because they don't listen to 27 words a minute because I can't copy anything with that, and so I'm not even going to do it.
That's right. And that's what it is.
It makes total sense, of course. I mean, can't criticize that.
Yeah.
So we're pulling out all the stops here saying, hey, when you hear a letter of the alphabet, and they're all going to be in order, every word following that's, in this case, going to be either two-letter word or a 3-letter word, and it's going to start with that letter you just heard 9 times.
Yeah. So when's the inauguration? When do we start this thing? When do you think it'll start taking off?
Well, all of this is going to be in the MPP, the Morse Practice Player, for all Long Island CW students, club students. And I imagine we're going to be looking at getting this done. I've got a couple of things to polish up on the last couple of larger files, probably in the next few weeks.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think before the end of July would be my bet.
Is this going to be strictly MPP on the Morse Practice page, or do you think you're going to have some classes that are going to incorporate this stuff?
I am. I'm definitely going to incorporate it.
I would too.
Because it can get it can really challenge the upper level skills.
Absolutely.
And it can challenge the just past beginner who I mean, at the very least, they're going to hear every letter of the alphabet 9 times at a fast enough character speed that they hopefully will start to discern that unique single sound rhythm instead of only bit sequences. ICR is the result of alphabetic familiarity and rapid character flow. ICR is not the result of alphabetic familiarity alone because it's the speedy flow of characters that kills people.
Right.
They know the alphabet, or at least they think they know it.
Right.
They probably don't know it by a single sound per letter. They may be parsing dits and das, but they know it. And the letters just start coming too fast. So it's flow. It's not being comfortable with a speedy character flow that really kills them. That's what really gets people.
Yeah. Fascinating, Tom. I think it's a great program. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know I tried it when you introduced it here, a week or so ago. And I thought, wow, you could just see where this is going to develop and kind of go from there. So,
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, we all do this, right? Every one of us are doing everything we can to help people progress
sure.
faster with less disappointment.
Another great tool, basically, in the arsenal here at LICW for sure. Tom, thank you so much. Good luck with the program, and we'll look forward to more and, let's see how it all rolls out.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about it.
You betcha. We'll get it out the door. Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Ah, the great outdoors. Sounds wonderful. There's something undeniably special about connecting with nature, being outside, whether it's hiking in the lush forest, camping under starry skies, taking maybe a peaceful walk through the park, and how about a little ham radio to boot? That's a favorite activity that a lot of folks have basically taken to the parks, and we're talking about Parks on the Air. Parks on the Air is definitely fun. Getting outdoors and operating a ham radio is a great way to grow your skills and meet other ham radio operators. And it's just a great way to practice your operating skills under a portable operation. One of the folks who've really taken Parks on the Air to another level is Lidi KQ3Q. Well, Lidi, how did you get started?
Actually, I heard POTA through our LICW WhatsApp app, right? And that's where I learned about POTA.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed the fact that people were chasing other people and getting awards and certificates. And it's like I call it an adult game, so to speak, And the whole thing, it was for me to pretty much, I wanted to do it for me to be able to, or force myself to copy random call signs.
Ah, okay.
Because yes, I would actually call CQ from my home's QTH, but people are not coming at me like they do when you POTA. That was the main purpose for me, was just to do that, for me to start forcing myself to copy random call signs, because I guess I would see it on YouTube. I would actually go to YouTube and watch other activators and copy, like listen and copy. But it's not the same when you are the activator and the stress level is actually like there, like you are it.
Okay.
And you better get this. No matter how, even if you have to ask 2 or 3 times, but you are it. You need to get this.
Sure.
As opposed to, when you're listening this on YouTube, you're more relaxed. Like you should be able to be relaxed anyway, because that's the whole purpose, but still it's different. It's not the same as when you are the activator and you are like what they say, you're the DX.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much that's why I started doing it. But the first time I did it, it was kind of like, oh, I need to do it again. It was like that bug, just bit me, and like, you need to do it.
Oh boy, yeah, like the line out there, and the fish on the line going, oh, I got to do that again. So, what is POTA? Can you kind of fill in the blanks over there for somebody who, I don't know, been living under a rock somewhere, who's never heard of it? But what is POTA? Go ahead.
My dog, I'm pretty bad with definitions or explaining things like that, as many others can actually explain it, but which is, we know that POTA stands for Parks on the Air.
Okay.
Someone goes to a park and, to use their radio and start calling CQ from the park to communicate with other people who wants to, what we call, hunt them,
Okay, so you have hunters and activators. I take it.
The activator is the person who goes to the actual park, physically to the actual park, and starts making contacts with all these people. And you have the protocol saying either CQ POTA in CW, or if you're doing it's different, So CQ works on the air, but let's leave that on the side. But yeah, CQ POTA, and then your call sign, and pretty much that's when people, they would actually go to the website, which is POTA.app, and people may confuse that website sometimes. Oh, you need to go to the POTA app, because that's the actual link, POTA, POTA.app. So many people confuse POTA app with an actual app. on a phone, and there's no app.
Okay.
Go to that website, and that's where you're going to see a list of active people
Who are
at a park. And the hunters are those who are not physically at a park hunting. That's the terminology.
okay?
Those activators. So they just make contact. It's a short, simple exchange. It's just your signal report, their state, and that's it. Pretty much, it's a very short, simple exchange.
To do that, right? There we go. Hey, it's a great idea. You get outside, you get a little fresh air.
That's the thing. You get out. The park that I go to, which is the one on the background here, it's Biscayne National Park. Well, this is actually Boca Chica. You have to get there to this lighthouse by boat. But I lived here for 20 years, and I've been to that park very few times.
Okay.
Now I don't know how many times I've been there. At least 40, I think, by now. It's really enjoyable. You get to be outdoors. And yes, there are so many other parks around me, maybe. Not so, it's still a little bit long, maybe because I have young kids. So I rather be closer to their school. Emergency, I need to go and respond.
Right.
My husband is working, and I'm home, so I get to do program. While he's working, but don't say that. He knows that. So then, so that's why I normally go to this park, and it's beautiful. So yes, you get to enjoy the outdoors, and then you learn. As I started, like my whole excuse, well, I just want to start copying random call signs, right?
Okay.
And then pretty much after that, I'm like, well, you know what? I really like this. And then after finding out you get certain awards for activating the park. If you go there for 20 times, you do an activation. 20 times you get this repeat offense, award for activating.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Park for 20 times. So, you get all these little, incentives, I guess, that people really like.
Yeah,
they like awards. We like to have something that will say, hey, I got this. I earned this, I guess. And then I started, like, okay, well, what if I use this other antenna? Oh, there's a mask. I don't have a mask. Let's try the mask. So you get to experiment, especially me who doesn't, I didn't have any, I mean, I'm pretty much 2 years into ham. So I'm pretty young. I'm pretty young in the sense of the ham world.
Right, exactly.
And understanding terminology and understanding so many things.
So just curious, how did you start out? Well, what kind of a rig did you put together to get started? And what would you suggest for somebody who wants to get started in this? What would you do? You can go, I suppose you go, very big, very small, just, for verbal.
I had to start small myself because, first of all, my husband had just purchased the ICOM 7300 that we've been wanting to get, plus a vertical antenna, which is not the, best of the best of the best, but it works. So that's already, in the thousands. And even though the ICOM was on sale, $900 back then, but still that adds up along with the antenna. And then once I just got the rig for home, found out about POTA. I'm like, well, honey, I cannot say this to him. Can you just buy me this wonderful big, aircraft, like, people always talk about and things. So, we have, like I said, we have young kids, so we're very mindful on certain financial decisions. So we have to wait. But when I searched for QRP, that's when I started learning about QRP. Remember, I had just, became a ham, and I didn't know about this little QRP. So that's when I found out about QRP Labs. Kit for, I forgot how much, but it's like $60 maybe, or $57.
Really?
I forgot exactly.
Wow.
But it's
so it wouldn't take you much to get into it at all. $50-$60 and away you go.
However, the wait list, there's a long list to get the rig. I was like, but that's if you want it already pre-built for you.
Yeah.
I was not gonna wait 6 months, so I decided to build it myself, and that's when I'm like, okay, well, if it's gonna get here in 2 weeks because it's coming from Turkey, then I can start building it, and it should be ready by Thanksgiving. I forgot exactly when I actually ordered it, but I knew we were gonna be on vacation at a certain by Thanksgiving. So I built it. It took me about almost 2 weeks. A little bit less, but then you have to do some fine tuning and adjustments or something. So, and then I redid it I don't know how many times because I wasn't sure if I was doing it correct. And that's when I knew I got it. I decided to buy that because it's affordable.
Sure.
I already know many people, well, you have to build it. I've never built anything before. Guess what? I've never built anything before. I don't know anything about capacitors and toroids.
What are these things? Yes.
I just knew that if I print the manual and follow those instructions because it's wonderful. Those instructions are written very nice for someone like me, I would say, who doesn't have any background of electronics or anything. I never even solder anything before.
Boy, there you go. What a heck of a deal. So with that particular thing, what was your first contact?
That's actually, I went to Louisa State Park. I think that's exactly the name. That's in Central Florida. That's when, that was the week, Thanksgiving week.
Okay.
2023. Yeah. And I had just started learning CW, so I was I'm still new, obviously, but still I was a lot newer, like 5 months into it, I believe, or a little bit less, maybe, I forgot. And that's where I decided, let's go. But, so that's when.
Give it a shot, yeah.
And activated, yeah.
Fun stuff. What would you recommend for somebody who wants to get started?
Well, it depends on their budget. Everything depends on their budget. So if they have all the money, all the money they want to spend because they have it.
Right.
Well, it's different. So they can splurge. I actually recently, someone allowed me to use their Elecraft. What is it? Is it KX3, the tiny little one?
Yeah, the little tiny one. Yeah.
That was wonderful. You could just no noise, and you could just hear the tiny little,
transceiver.
It was just so beautiful. That's it. I have not used anything else for me to actually say, use this. But that's not really, but it's pricey. I'm talking about for those who money is not an issue, but then you can go to QRP Labs, get a little, and build it yourself.
Right.
Or, what is it? The other one that they have is already, well, now there's one, True DX. I forgot. Oh, True Bits. I forgot. There's one, I think it's from India. Okay. And I think they're coming up now in next month. They're actually selling it right now, but I think they're going to start delivering it next month. I forgot the name. But there's one that is from India. It's actually,
sure.
Some people already use the other version, but they're doing a QRP. I forgot the name. But other than that, what is it that I've seen people use? They have the ICOM 705. Again, you have to splurge. But then there's a popular one that I've heard of other people using it, which is the G90.
Okay.
It's a Chinese radio, so that's one of the other ones. But I have not used them for me to say, yes, go for it. But I've heard others that they actually use them and they make a lot of contacts. And that one, at least the G90, it has an internal tuner, which is great because the ICOM 705, even though it's so fancy, it doesn't come. So you have to now worry about an external, antenna tuner.
So what kind of an antenna do you use now? And you got the 7300, but what are you using for an antenna at this point?
So for POTA, I was lucky enough or blessed, however you want to say it. One of our LICW instructors, he actually sent me as a gift. He gave me it's actually sold by Vibroplex. It's the trail friendly which is resonant in 10 millimeters. It's called the trail friendly. And that is, it used to be sold by L&R. So my antenna says L&R, but now it's sold by Vibroplex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. Yeah. And I guess it could be, as you say, it could be as much or as little as you want to basically put into the program. But the experience is the real thing. Regardless of how you get there, that's the real thing. How many contacts have you made so far?
I can't give you the name, but I did make my first kilo already at Biscayne National Park. And at the kilo, it's 1,000 contacts.
Oh.
Where my goal was to make the 1,000 contacts only in CW.
Okay.
I've made more after that. I don't know the numbers from the top of my head.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think POTA has really kind of spurred people along and getting interested in the CW and getting into ham radio. And it was kind of interesting to see some of the ARRL numbers over there.
And they have done a very good job. Like I said, I know others that they started doing POTA from the beginning of the program. I have no idea how it used to be or how it all started. I've read about it, but not, but for example, the website is just great. You can live feed people actually doing the activation. And it's so user friendly, I would say. And I'm sure they're always maybe updating and doing all this to keep it up. But it's really nice. It's really friendly. You can see who is actually activating and will be activating as well, because there is another section where you can schedule activations ahead of time, so you can actually look through the list, and perhaps there's a specific location, specific part that you're actually hunting for, or a specific activator that you're actually hunting. So you can actually see that through their website. But it's what I really like. It's also for CW section, how the RBN actually really connects with the POTA app, and pretty much. So you start calling CQ, call CQ POTA, right? Somehow with the RBN and the POTA, it connects, and they know that you're activating. So it puts you as active on their website.
Okay.
I have a lot of issues, cell phone issues at Biscayne National Park because I don't have cell phone signal.
Okay. All right.
So it works wonders when you call in CW, CQ POTA, so the RBN, it's like talks to me. That's how I say it. To the POTA app, and that's when it activates me, puts me in the active list that I'm actually at a park.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really good.
So you go to the app basically, and you can see who's out there and who's operating and so on and so forth. At that point, you become the hunter and looking for the activators.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's not like a geocache on steroids or something.
Yes, and for other different people, like my cousin who's really young, I would say for Pokemon, it's just
well, there you go.
They have their cell phones and they're catching all these little creatures, all virtual, and they actually gather together and they go to different places to collect all these little monsters. We're doing the same thing, but with people over, on the air. So it's a different way of putting it for younger generation, I guess.
Oh, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Anyway, Lidi, thank you so much. It's been fun yakking with you over there, and good luck with the program. Hope you continue along with it, and hope I can hear you on the air there sometime, find you.
Hope so. It's far, but I've made some contacts from your state, actually, so it's possible that we can do a POTA, contact one day.
Yep, hope we can do that. Lidi, thank you so much. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you.
For more information, you can go to POTA, that's parksontheair.com. They've got a great little starter book out there which will explore the process of activating a park and hunting and all the rest of the aspects of Parks on the Air. I know you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. This is LICW is produced by the Informational Services of the Long Island CW Club. Comments, questions may be made to WA7BFN@MSN.com. Thanks, everybody. Till next time, 73s.